I keep getting ghosted and it's starting to take a toll. Why do people do this?
You know, you should have recorded this episode by yourself to really sell the effect
As it because you would have just been
of you
ghosting?
getting ghosted. Yeah.
They'd be like, "Where's AJ?
Where is he?
He ghosted." Um on that note, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Muslim Marriage Podcast, where we show you how to find and build a healthy marriage as a Muslim. I'm Zahra Hassan.
And I'm AJ, and we've been married for 3.5 years. If you like our videos, please comment and subscribe. Ask your questions below or on our website, and you may feature in one of our videos with your permission. And please remember, everything we talk about can be found on our website, zahrahassancoaching.com.
And as a thank you, get your free copy of my compatibility guide available in the links below. We just had our last iteration of the workshop for the dating app live webinar for women entitled Dating App Strategies That Actually Work. We had a great time. There are some people who are booked up for the next session in September the 6th. So if you would like to join us, the link for that will be in the description below. So that brings us to this week's episode, which is entitled, Why Do People Keep Ghosting Me?
I think it's because they're entitled.
All right. We're going to, every few weeks, we're going to come back to the entitled.
Well,
Entitled
no,
joke?
people are ghosting you because they're entitled.
I understand, but if we go back into the lore every few weeks,
Yeah.
we get stuck on, we go back to the word entitled.
If we can't agree with it, we'll just ask Akimbawale.
All right, he'll let us know. So this is a question that's coming from the Muslim marriage subreddit. But this one is not really a question. It's more like a statement about what about what it feels like to get ghosted, that I thought it was very accurate. So we're going to go ahead and read that. So this individual says, I wish being ghosted was like taking off a Band-Aid. Just tear it off real quick and the pain is gone after a few seconds. Being ghosted, however, takes way too long. After a few hours and no reply, you tell yourself maybe they're busy and they'll reply later. A whole day passes and you say it's a weekday. They'll reply after work. A couple of days pass and you say to yourself, surely they'll reply during the weekend when it's less hectic. All the while ignoring the fact that you've seen those blue checks on the message. They read it and simply ignored it. It's hard out here on these streets for us single ukhtis and akhis.
Okay. Easy solution.
Yes.
Do what I did. Send a message and forget you exist.
What would the message say?
Whatever the message is for that point in time. I would send a message and then I would just forget you exist until you reply.
Do you remember what so you're just the follow-up message, not
just
really.
Just consistently sending you messages and then waiting on you to reply. I would just forget you exist.
Okay, all right. So
it's not factual, by the way.
It's not?
No.
How did you used to deal with being ghosted?
I never did. Actually, not from you, but I did get ghosted from other people.
I think there's a lot of evidence that you were not ghosted by me.
Yeah.
All right, so how did you deal with it when other people would ghost?
After maybe 2 hours, I'd be like, nice, we get to move on from this.
2 hours?
Yeah, that's all it takes for me.
Okay, mashallah. Honestly, it was about the same amount of time for me.
I know how long it takes for someone to respond.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if they don't respond after seeing your text for 2 hours, then typically I would just forget they exist.
Mashallah, tabarakallah, that you have a lot more
fortitude,
right? So you're a lot more securely attached than I am, for sure. And than a lot of people. So the way that I would react to feeling ghosted would be, it's sort of like, because one of the core wounds that I struggle with is the wound around rejection. So fear of rejection. So it would touch on that the wound around self. Yeah, the fear of rejection is based on wound of self-worth in my case. So every time that I would feel rejected, I'd be like, okay, so this is confirming the fact that I'm not as worth as much as this person thought, right? So it would confirm these false beliefs within me, and away we go in that cycle. The most accurate term that somebody used was emotional hangover. So you go into a little bit of an emotional hangover where you feel your emotional response is out of proportion to what it is that actually happened, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you'll meet somebody through your parents, through your aunts, through the app, whatever. So you met somebody, you've known them for a total of maybe a week, 2 weeks. I mean, you're not even fully sure what their last name is. And they suddenly ghost you. And the trigger, like the triggering event, is relatively very small, minuscule. Like it's a complete stranger who was not in your life is suddenly out of your life again. However, what it triggers within you internally is very huge, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Because it's not opening up just this wound, this proportionate wound of this event. What it's doing is it's touching on all of the other times that you felt rejected in the past. So all of the other ghostings, all of the, job applications that didn't go through, all of the moments where you felt like there was a door closed or somebody saying no to you are all coming up at once. And that's the reason why being ghosted feels so painful for people who carry these similar wounds.
Yeah.
So what do you do? What do you do when you have all of this pain every time that you feel ghosted? Because it really can take an emotional toll and a toll on your mental health and well-being. What would you recommend for people?
I'm still trying to figure out what a hangover feels like, because you said emotional hangover.
Yeah, obviously, alhamdulillah, I've never actually experienced a hangover.
Yeah.
But just that sensation of residual feelings after the event has long since passed.
Yeah.
Right? So sometimes it can last hours, sometimes it can last days, or something small. I remember the worst, can I tell you the worst case?
Yeah, go ahead.
This was the most annoying one, where I had an aunt who may be listening to this podcast. So if you're listening, Assalamu alaikum habarir, which is the word for aunt in my language. But I had an aunt who was a wonderful person reach out to me and say, there's a brother who's interested in you and wants to get to know you. And at that point, I wasn't ready. I was still in that process of, getting myself together. So I told her, no, thank you. Not right now. I have so many other things to focus on. But my aunt was very insistent and just kept asking and asking for a couple of days in a row. And because I don't want to be rude to my aunt, I just finally said, okay, auntie, no problem. She said, great. Can you send me a picture?
Mm-hmm.
So I sent her a picture. And then the next day she reached back out and she said, okay, so I talked to the brother. He said he prayed Salatul Istikhara and it's a no from him. I was so angry. Because I don't know to this day who this brother is. It's completely irrelevant. But I said that I'm just in my home. I'm not at all exposed to the outside world.
Yeah.
And people are reaching out to me and finding me just to reject me.
Yeah.
It was so frustrating. That was one that I remember because it felt unsolicited.
Yeah,
it was unwarranted.
It's definitely unsolicited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fully unwarranted.
It's like saying to someone, this thing tastes like bacon.
Yeah.
How would anyone be able to assuage that as a Muslim, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can eat the thing that tastes like bacon. Like they sell turkey bacon, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they sell hangovers.
Oh, you're still on the hangover?
Yeah. Because it's like someone on the internet said the best and most understandable way to describe what ghosting feels like is it's a hangover, but emotionally.
No, it was a term that I came across.
Oh.
That accurately described what it felt like for me.
Right.
Right? And sometimes
based off of descriptions from like TV movies and things
yeah,
like
absolutely. That. You know what's funny? You're experiencing a thought hangover.
Yeah, because I'm hung up on it.
You're hung up on something that has passed.
Okay, so the thought's ghosting me.
Yeah, the thought is no. It's too meta. It's way too meta. But anyway, so that's what that experience was like, where people would just come find me in my little basement apartment.
Abode.
just to ghost me, and that would be just to reject me and leave again.
About
So for me, the pain of the ghosting was associated with the pain of being rejected, right? And I would
Yeah.
assume that that's what is going on for a lot of people. For other people, especially when the talking stage or even sometimes engagement has lasted a little bit longer, maybe their core wound is associated with fear of abandonment, right? And that can also be powerfully triggered, um, and lead to other issues down the road. So it's ghosting has such a unique way of triggering a variety of different wounds and coming to a fruition a number of different associated fears
yeah.
that's why so many people have a hard time with it. So if we go back to our original question of, so what then do you do? Right? So what you do, right, is number one, you try to do a little bit of introspection and try to name what your wounds are and what their associated fears are. What is it about ghosting specifically
Yeah.
that's so painful? And is there anything else that you've experienced in your life that is similar to that pain that would give you some clues, right? So for me, it's what I listed, right? So the job applications that don't go through, when you're apartment hunting, the apartments that say no, just that rejection is what was so painful and felt familiar to being ghosted. So that's why I know that that's what it was for me. So that's a little bit of the detective work you're gonna have to do internally to come up with the wounds. And once are able to name any one or maybe even two of those wounds, we have YouTube, and YouTube is an underrated resource. So you can type into YouTube that the name of that wound, and there is a ton of information by wonderful individuals who are licensed and well accredited to give you strategies on how to start to address these wounds. So when they say do the work, this is what it means, right? Coming up with the names of what might be going on internally and developing strategies to cope when you feel triggered.
Yes.
Right. To start to talk about all the different ways to cope would need 2 podcast episodes. So we're not going to do that. But that's where I would recommend that you start. Second thing that you need to do is understand that when someone ghosts you, it very rarely has something to do with you.
Yeah.
It more often has something to do with them.
Yeah.
So there are 2 ways to talk about why people are ghosting you, right? The first way is to talk about what is it in their character, in their personality, in their integrity that makes them feel like ghosting people is okay. And the second thing is to talk about what is it in their circumstances that has prompted them to ghost you in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? So if we talk about in terms of their character, what is it in a person's character that would make them feel like ghosting is a good option? And then
weak-willed.
Yes.
They have no moral upright standing.
Definitely it can be, right? But I don't think that all people who ghost are amoral.
Their first wife found out.
So that's more in terms of circumstances. We'll come to that. But in terms of their character, I think what's going on is 2 things.
Yeah.
Number one, they don't respect you. Right? So that's just a fact. If somebody is wants to ghost you, it's because they don't respect you, they don't respect your feelings. Right? Number two, it could be that they have they're not mature enough to have the communication skills. So that they are too uncomfortable with confrontation, so they just avoid it completely.
Yeah.
Right? So A, they don't respect you, or B, they have poor communication skills.
Yeah.
Those tend to be the 2 reasons why an individual might be prone to ghosting, right? Regardless of their situation. And both of these disqualify them from marrying you.
Yeah.
So when somebody ghosts you, try to keep it in your mind that this person might not respect me, or they might have poor communication skills, or both.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not somebody you want to be married to. So when you are ghosted, try to say, Alhamdulillah. Try to say, thank God, right? Because it's better for you to find out this way than to find out the harder way.
Yeah. I should clarify, by the way,
Yes.
with my joke about the first wife finding out,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any plans on getting a second wife,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I haven't studied that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you have to tell your first wife that you're getting a second wife,
Mm-hmm.
or if you can keep that a secret. So y'all, if you guys are going down that route, do your research yourself. I was simply making a joke.
Okay. For the record, just due to the frequency of our jokes related to polygamy,
Mhm.
I'm becoming a little worried. I can't help but notice the pattern.
That's very fair for you to say.
Yes. If there's something you're trying to tell me, I'm just gonna assume you'll tell me.
I would not be able to sustain two wives,
I'm alhamdulillah.
neither financially nor emotionally.
Okay, thank God.
I give my all to you.
Oh, I appreciate that, but just for the record, no, you would not be able to.
Exactly.
I would make sure of it.
Exactly.
And number two, when we talk about with respect to their circumstances of why some people can ghost, this is one of those situations where sometimes a client will come to me and will talk about a previous experience, and she'll speak about how they were ghosted. This is when I would ask for, can I have a little bit more context?
Yeah.
Sometimes that involves looking at their messages, if there's messages that are available, etc. In general, there are a few reasons why somebody might suddenly disappear. So the first scenario is you just met somebody, and it's under a month. You may or may not have met in person yet, but you still haven't really gotten to the phase of asking the questions and really proclaiming the intent to, yes, I feel like you would be a good match for me to marry.
Yeah.
Bilaterally, mutually. You really haven't gotten to that stage, and you're really still in that very superficial probing stage, seeing even if there's a connection there, and then they disappear. That's somebody who probably wasn't looking for marriage in the first place. Or it could be that it could be that they're busy in their lives. It could be that they're just generally emotionally unavailable. Another thing that it could be is that if this is somebody that you met through your family, right? So presented to you by an aunt or an uncle, etc. It could be that they're being pushed by their parents, right? So their parents are putting pressure on them. Talk to her, talk to him. Have you talked to him? And they're just doing the bare minimum. So these are all possibilities, but the common denominator is that this is somebody who wasn't interested in marriage in general, probably in the first place, right? Because very few people actively waste their own time.
Mm-hmm.
Second situation, it could be that you met somebody, there's a connection there, and they're the ones who are really trying to drive this connection. So they seem very interested, they're very consistent, and they're really trying to speed run. They're trying to speed run the situation. It's 2 months in, 3 months in, whatever, however long it is. Your parents don't know about one another, and then suddenly they ghost you. So this, yeah. Do you any guesses of what that situation might be?
Sad.
Yes, it's sad. It's very sad. But this tends to be how the rebounder presents, right? And the person who was rebounding from a previous relationship, if when they ghost you suddenly, it's because the previous person came back.
Yeah.
Right? So that's something to keep in the back of your mind, especially when you're talking to somebody who is fresh out of a relationship, relatively fresh out of a relationship. Then there's the other situation where you met somebody, things seem to go swimmingly. They're very, very consistent. They, buy you flowers, buy you gifts, get to know your family, and are very interested and invested in the romance of it all, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So they are they like to the theatrics of the talking stage, and then you get to know each one. I don't know how to speak today. You get to know one another's families. They meet your family. Your family usually loves this person because they know how to say all of the right things, and then coming up very close to the engagement day. To the marriage day, whether that's the nikah ceremony, the marriage ceremony, whatever it is in your culture, that's when they'll say, you know what, this is too much for me, I'm gonna leave.
The cold feeder.
Cold feet, yes.
Ah.
That's a very good way to describe that. Have you ever met anyone who was in a situation like that?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone in Somalia, but I don't think it was due to cold feet.
Yeah.
It was due to I already spoke on this, but I'd been consistently, for like the 3 months that we were talking,
Yeah.
consistently saying that I'm not going back to Canada. I'm staying here. I'm not going back to Canada. I'm staying here. I'm not going back to Canada. Staying here.
Yeah.
And at one point, we had decided that we were going to marry each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then after like another week and a half or something like that, maybe 2 weeks of me still, anytime anyone would ask me, her family or whatever, I would always say the same thing. And then that's when she decided to break it off.
Yeah. Oh, that's very painful.
But I don't think that's a cold feeder.
It could be, but maybe she had some other intentions, right?
Yeah.
But
to me, it seemed evident that, that they did.
If it's any consolation, I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to meet you.
There you go. Alhamdulillah. But the situation that I described for both men and for women, this is somebody who I like to call in love with love.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a type of person who is very excited about all of the fantasy of what it's like to be in a relationship and what it's like to be married, right? And what it's like to have a companion and just how it's going to make me feel and how I'm going to feel in that situation.
Yeah.
None of it's happening in an intentional way. It's all on the subconscious plane. But the pattern is always very consistent. When you first meet them, they will speak a lot about what it will feel like. It's going to be a lot of imagine if, or imagine when, and they paint a lot of pictures, right?
Yeah.
Even if you're in your conversations, if you pay attention to the conversations, it's more about what things will feel like and how things feel rather than who you are as a human being.
Yeah.
Right? So they're connecting with the relationship rather than connecting with you. And once you get to a certain point where it's inevitable that if I keep talking to this person, I'm going to have to marry them, and they come face to face with the reality of the consequences of this commitment, the reality of the responsibility that they're about to take on, that's when they tend to leave. Sometimes this individual will get married, right? And once again, when they come face to face with the reality of everything that's going on, in addition to the fantasy part, the honeymoon phase of the relationship starting to die down, starting to die away, the newness of it all is starting to fade away.
Yeah.
Those two things make it so that these individuals have a very difficult time moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Now, listeners know that I used to watch Love is Blind back when it was, watchable. If you haven't ever seen it, don't watch it. It's a terrible show. But there are quite a few examples. The one that stands out to me is in Love is Blind UK season 1.
Otherwise known as UK.
Okay. Or UK. In season 1, there was a couple, Steven and Sabrina, right? And Steven is a classic case of somebody who's in love with love and can be easily spotted from their initial conversations, where he was very focused on the theatrics of it all. And the reason why that example is important, if you've seen it, to clock it, is how their relationship ended up. Because from the very beginning, from that pod, I knew it wasn't going to work. And even after they became married, I knew it wasn't going to work and how it would end up. So that when they came back on the reunion and Sabrina was very frustrated, she said, we got married and then I don't know what happened, because they lived in 2 different places. So she said, I would make the effort to go to where he is, but he wouldn't really make the effort to come to where I am. He would make a lot of excuses. He just seemed less and less committed.
Yeah.
Right? And which is typically how that situation goes. So these are very short-lived marriages. So that's another possibility for why someone ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they ghost late in the state game or late stage ghosting. It can be due to rebounding, or it could be due to somebody who's in love with love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So to recap, why people ghost, like what makes them more prone to being a ghoster is, number one, they just don't respect individuals, right? Particularly you. or number two, they have poor communication skills.
Absolutely.
What are the situations that can lead people to ghosting? In number one, if it's short term, like if it's in the very short term, the most common reason is that they weren't actually interested in marriage.
Yeah.
And if it's in the longer term, like later stage ghosting, it could be that they're rebounding. It could be that they're in love with love. There are obviously going to be many other reasons. These are just the common reasons that I've listed. But the bottom line is, it doesn't really matter why. Like it honestly does not matter why somebody has disappeared, as long as they're alive and breathing, right? If they have disappeared, odds are they don't respect you, they don't know how to communicate, and they're not a good match for you.
Absolutely.
Therefore, when you are hurt and everything's triggered, it no longer becomes a story about them. It becomes a story about you, and using this as an opportunity to practice your coping skills for healing and reprogramming this wound around rejection or this wound around abandonment.
You'll come back stronger.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. And believe me, if you're using the dating apps, you'll have plenty of opportunity to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's everything, I think. Is there anything we're missing?
No. Yeah. I think you did an exceptional job describing the ghosting method.
Yeah.
We didn't touch on the other type of ghosting, but
there's other types?
Yeah, I guess you wanted to keep the conversation natural.
Not supernatural? Well, yeah. I get you. I see, I got that one.
There you go.
I got that one. Not even a single Ghostbusters joke.
That was the very first joke I told, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, no, actually, it wasn't.
No.
What are you going to call? Ghostbusters. There you go.
You know what's sad is that as time goes on, fewer and fewer people are going to get that joke. Exactly. Copyright. All right, so that's everything. Jazaa K'Allah Khayr for choosing to spend this time with us. It always means a lot to us. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel. We're trying really hard to get to 300 subscribers. It would mean a lot. YouTube has this way of pushing out content that has more subscribers in it, obviously. So that would help us out a lot. If you haven't downloaded your copy of the compatibility guide that goes through pretty much in step-by-step on how to assess the compatibility of individuals, you can find it in the description below. And finally, if you're a sister who's on the dating apps and would like some help, you can get help from me live in a 1-hour webinar. Sign up in the description below. That is everything. You guys have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time, and assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.